Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Jay's Gimme 5 with my man Mark Gray in the house once again. Coming up on the show this week, we're going to pay homage to our HBCU of the week. Hail Mary Bethune Cookman University. Bethune Cookman University, or as Alvin Wyatt used to say, Bethune Cookman College.
Coach Shine Wyatt, and he'll be focusing on rivalry week as the Wildcats take on Florida A&M in a game that could determine the MEAC champion, although I think the folks in
Tallahassee have something to say about that
so
as well.
too,
The Rattlers there.
What about those folks in Durham?
Oh, rivalry week all over the place, and we'll talk about a little bit more during our Give Me 5 segment. But also, we're going to go behind the scenes and in-depth in detail about the situation you heard in the NFL regarding Le'Veon Bell. Should he play? Should he not play? We'll get our takes on that position there. I think that's a big story.
It is a big story, but the guy's not playing, and I'm more inclined to worry about the guys that's on the field. But again, that's just me. Now remember, you got the flicks of the week.
Well, last week I put the challenge out there. Come up with your best picture selfie of the week, and guess what? I'm still the leader of the clubhouse. Look at who joined us in the booth. That's my girl Tiffany Green, who called the game with me down in Daytona, but
from FAMU,
and put her right next to Nick Collins
from
Bethune Cookman College University. But Nick was the guy there, MEAC Hall of Famer, had a nice career, won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. Good to see him. So we want to see more pictures like that coming from y'all.
So that's right. Hit us up on all our social media platforms and drop us a hashtag or an @ the Gimme 5 Show. And who knows, your selfie just might make the program next week. Now, I got some selfies from the season, too, though.
So what you got, Mar? Let's check out what you got, Mar.
Indeed. So check them out. You got some Oregon State stuff. We got Mayor Kathy Pugh, who former cheerleader. Kwaisi Mfume, former director NAACP. So we got a lot of stuff going on here. So check us out. But what's really going on this week, Jay, is the biggest games of the season in rivalry week. And it's always good when rivalry games mean championships potentially. So Jay Walker, give me 5.
Now it's time for this week's Give Me 5, brought to you by the Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl. And how ironic, because our topic is going to have a lot to do with the Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl. Coming in at number 5, we're going to talk about the rivalry games that mean something this weekend. And none of them is going to be bigger a week from now. That's why it's number 5 than Grambling versus Southern. The Bayou Classic will clearly determine who will represent the SWAC Western Division champion in the SWAC championship game with an opportunity to keep their postseason hopes alive. Number 4, this week all eyes in the HBCU Division II world will be on Bowie State University. Bowie will host West Alabama. Quarterback Amir Hall, he needs to show up in a big-time way, and the Bulldogs really need to win at home to show that they're one of the top teams in the country. Number 3, let's go on down to the SIP. Jackson State versus Alcorn State. Alcorn is my number 1 ranked team in the country, but last year the Braves were beat by Jackson State in a defensive struggle. Whoever wins this game will represent the East in the SWAC championship football game. Number 2, this game has been the number 1 game the past 4 years, but this year it goes down a notch. North Carolina A&T versus North Carolina Central. The Aggies have been the pride of the HBCU landscape for a number of years, but one school can care less about that, and that's North Carolina Central. And for the record, the Eagles have defeated the Aggies 3 of the last 4 years. A Celebration Bowl berth could be on the line if our number 1 game of the week goes as the records say. Florida A&M versus Bethune Cookman University. FAMU has not beaten Bethune Cookman in 7 years, so they should lose this game again, right? Head coach Willie Simmons is not buying that. If the Rattlers win, they win the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Championship and an automatic bid to the Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl. Oh, it's going to be popping down there in Orlando. On the bubble, not quite making it, let's call it more of a head scratcher, because I want somebody to explain to me how Miles, Albany State, and Morehouse College, which are all three of the best Division II football programs in the South, don't get invited to the Division II playoffs. I don't know. Something doesn't seem right. Let's talk about it some more when you hit us up on all of our social media platforms to continue the discussion. Alrighty, that's what I think about it. And pretty hard to debate this list because these games mean so much. But let's go into further detail about that, Mark. What you think?
Well, you're right. You hit the nail on the head with the top quintet of contests this week. And really, from the realm of pressure cooker win, Sam Washington, the first-year head coach at North Carolina A&T, has got to win this game over North Carolina Central. You know, that was one of the beefs that Aggie fan had with Rod Broadway, the fact that he struggled against Central. So, in many respects, if you went to school in Greensboro, it doesn't matter what happens unless you beat those folks from Durham.
Yeah, that's true. I think the coach with the most pressure on him, though, to be honest, is Dawson Odom, Southern University. You know why? If you don't beat Grambling this year, then guess what, Jaguar fans? You're not going to beat them. This is a rebuilding year for Grambling. I think Dawson Odom and the Jaguars, they have to win this game.
I also think that really Fred McNair at Alcorn State has to win his game over Jackson State. I mean, think about it. There's a lot of people down there that are somewhat uncomfortable with the way he handles things.
They don't know what they're talking about.
But that groundswell is growing, you know as well as I do. And to lose to Jackson after Jackson fired their coach would almost be reprehensible to the folks on the reservation.
But I tell this to the folks at Jackson, and hear me out on this one. Before Hobson took over, and y'all had a problem hiring Hobson because he was a white coach, but he turned the program around. Before he took over, nobody was knocking down the door to be the head coach at Alcorn State University. Now, I think certain things go along with Alcorn. I think McNair's go along with Alcorn State University, and I think Fred McNair's doing a good job. Plus, the Braves right now, they're the number one team in HBCU football, if you ask me.
And they have Noah Johnson, the quarterback, who could be not only a player of the year candidate in HBCU-wise, he's definitely on the Walter Payton watch list. Also, Bowie State for the second straight year in Division II will host a playoff game. That is big for the CIAA champion.
Got to win. At home, you got to win it.
West Alabama.
Don't care. At home, you're the higher seed, got to win it. Good luck to the Bulldogs representing HBCU. Let's change it over a little bit. Let's take them inside the locker room. What do you think about Le'Veon Bell?
Well, there are two schools of thought. Get your money, protect your body. I have no problems with that. But I can also identify with certain players. You guys got that fraternity on the inside, play for your teammates. He's clearly looking out for himself. If I'm a teammate, I at least got to raise an eye.
It's not a matter of looking out for yourself. Let me tell you something in the locker room, and I talk about it in the locker room from this perspective. You know who the players are. You know who the players that are getting paid off of other players are. Le'Veon Bell saying, hey, Ben Roethlisberger's not as good without Le'Veon Bell on the field. Antonio Brown, not as good without Le'Veon Bell on the field. So why does he have to sit back and regulate to being the third highest paid player on that team when he feels he's the most valuable player on that team? And if you're going to be the most valuable player, then he should be paid like the most valuable player. He's been dealing with this for a couple years, and I'm on the side of Le'Veon Bell. I don't want to be paid as the highest paid running back in the NFL. Pay me what I'm worth to this team, and it's clear he's the most valuable player on this football team.
I would argue that the Steelers are still contending with him on the sidelines, and James Conner has done an outstanding job. And from that realm of plugging in a running back to keep the offense running more efficient, I don't want to sound like I'm capitulating to the quarterback, but the quarterback, the most important position, even in Pittsburgh, Big Ben's still that dude.
Yeah, but James Conner can't get out there and run a sluggo route, or slant and go as we call it, and take it to the house. He's a special talent. I think they need to go ahead and break bread.
He can move the chains.
They're going to miss him when he's gone.
He can move the chains, Jay. And as long as you're moving the chains, it makes life easier for the quarterback. And we've seen Le'Veon Bell moves the chains. James Conner moves the chains. Le'Veon may do it in a more dynamic fashion, but as long as the chains are moving, you still got a chance to win.
I'm with you there.
So this week we go to the sunny sands and the beaches of Florida for our School of the Week, the incomparable Bethune Cookman University.
And now it's time for this week's HBCU School of the Week. We're going to tell you something about a little school down in Florida, founded in 1904 with a little bit over 4,000 students today. That school is Bethune Cookman University. Here are the 5 things you need to know about BCU. Number 5, location, location, location. It counts in real estate and it counts in education as well. Located in Daytona Beach, Florida, the campus sits less than 2 miles away from the coastline. Oh, what a pleasure it is to go to school in all that sunshine and the water. Number 4, don't. Wildcats, don't. Let's go. I'm trying to mimic the most popular chant in the HBCU landscape, which is led by the Marching Wildcat Band, recently ranked the #1 band in all of HBCU band play. Oh yeah, and throw in the 14K dancers, they've got to make the top 5. Number 3, let's take it down to the football field. Rasheem Mathis did it better than any other defensive player in the history of Bethune Cookman University. How good was Mathis? He won the Buck Buchanan Award, given away to the nation's top FCS defensive player, and he also still holds the record for the most career and single-season interceptions. Mathis was a baller. Number 2, as good as Rasheem Mathis was, I gotta pay homage to the gold jacket. That is, NFL Hall of Fame gold jacket, talking about Larry Little, the offensive lineman for Bethune-Cookman, who went on to greater fame when he was a member of the only undefeated perfect season football team in the history of the NFL, the 1972 Miami Dolphins. At number 1, all hail, Mary McLeod Bethune. You have to give her credit for what she did. Little known fact, she's not from Florida. She actually migrated south from South Carolina, but education was her passion once she got connected with FDR and his administration, thus the school's name, Bethune Cookman University. Not quite making it on the list, we call it on the bubble. Rest in peace, one of the toughest men in the history of the planet, Kimbo Slice, who went to Bethune Cookman, and also, how about the sharpest dressed coach in the history of college football? Talking about Alvin Shine Wyatt. He also coached ladies basketball at Bethune Cookman and was a great pro football player as well. Want to talk about it? Debate me? Hit us up on all of our social media platforms. Come on, y'all. You know I can't talk about Bethune Cookman College University without mentioning the sharpest dressed coach in the history of the sidelines, Alvin Shine Wyatt.
What an era that was for Coach Wyatt, man. He made Dickies a myth. Let's just remember. He did for Dickies what Jim Harbaugh did for, I don't know, khaki
Dockers or something
yeah,
like that.
it was something crazy like that. But, Jay, let's be real. There are a couple of other people that you omitted from your list. A. Philip Randolph, the civil rights activist from the early 20th century, is a proud card-carrying member, or was, of the Bethune-Cookman Alumni Association. Also, former Temple University basketball coach John Chaney, who was the master of turning young boys into men.
See, and that's your job. Everybody know I'm a football player, baseball guy. You bring in basketball. The stuff that I forget, that's what you bring in. Leaving John Chaney, that was a tough one. I knew he was there, but this didn't make my top 5 or on the bubble. What about a little rumbling, Kimbo Slice?
Yeah, Kimbo was, pretty good, but I'm saying John Chaney was more of a leader who crossed over from just the realm of sports. And then, of course, Jack McLaren coached men's and women's basketball to championships at Bethune-Cookman. He was the first player from the school to go to the NFL. So
legendary guy there, but there's only so much space there. I had to pay homage to it. With that being said, that's our list. My list plus Mark's a little 2 cents, which counts sometime. But that's our list there. You want to talk about it? Make sure you hit us up on all of our social media platforms here on the Gimme 5 show.
And don't forget to drop your selfies of the week and make your voice heard. So remember, if you're at the game or just hanging out at the event, give it to us. Straight, no chaser.
No chaser.
via Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and maybe you can join us as part of the Gimme 5 show team. We having trials?
Nah, ain't no trial.
No trials?
Ain't no trial.
Don't have any room for it?
They don't want to get cut.
Okay, this is true.
Holla at y'all next time, y'all.
Deuces.